All right, hello everyone. So today I have with me Mr. Christopher Amolo. He is a teacher that I actually recruited with my recruitment company, and he is in North Carolina in the US now. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. At the time of this recording, it's January 1st, 2026, so it's a new year. Are you
Yeah.
excited for the new year? Any plans?
Yeah, I'm really, really excited for this new year. I'm just chilling and hoping that God does his thing,
Yeah.
I I normally have New Year resolutions, but this year I said I just leave it to God. Let it be done according to his will.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
Chris, you have a pretty interesting story. So why don't you
sure.
tell us about your background and who you are and how you kind of ultimately ended up here?
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, my name is Christopher Amolo Nyango. I am a Kenyan citizen who just landed in the US like 1.25 years ago. I came here in 2024, September, through YCM. So Christopher comes from a humble background, and I'm glad Yasmin has been to where I was born in Kibra slums, Nairobi, Kenya. So I was born alongside two siblings, my sister, my elder sister, and my younger brother. So life was a little bit difficult in the slums, as you know, you've been there. We really, really suffered a lot. So that really gave me the motivation to work hard, be resilient, be patient, pray for what I wanted. And I said, the fact that I came from a humble background, I can turn everything around and, make a bright future and be a motivational to many who come from the same place. And that is why I decided just to work hard in my studies. Joined Maseno University, did my bachelor's degree in education, got a second class honors, and then I said, wow, there's so many people who have bachelor degrees. What if I do a master's degree? So maybe I can just increase my chances of being employed. That is when I decided to enroll for a master's degree in pure mathematics, which, it's not an easy thing, but I gave it my all because I wanted to be a motivational to people, not just back home, but everywhere across the globe. So boom, just started my master's degree, did so well, and I graduated with my master's degree in 2024. And it happened that by that time, I got an opportunity with the YCM solution to come to America. That was a game changer. So my story with the YCM solution is a bit unique because it revolved around being patient, hardworking, resilience, having hope. Because I started this journey in 2023 when I was just about to finish my master's. And, we had some school districts looking for teachers, and then I did some few interviews here and there. And I was not able to travel in the year 2023 because, it was not God's plan. So I decided to be patient. And when God's time came, then I got a chance to work at Edgecombe County Public Schools here in North Carolina. And that is when I came. So yeah, here I am, 1.25 years down the line, still kicking, very happy and proud of YCM. And I wish everybody the best, in your journey.
So, Chris, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, the journey. It was not easy for you to come, and I'm sure there's even a mental aspect. A lot of people feel like, you know what, I'm not even going to make it, so I might as well not even try to put my name out there. I might as well not
Mhm.
even try to apply. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people feel discouraged because they might
Yeah,
go to one job interview and it doesn't work out, and then they're like, oh, forget it, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I want you to touch on that, but I also want to talk about your whole emotional, I'm sure there was an emotional roller coaster there for you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So can you
exactly.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So just to start with the first question, and this question, drives something called patience, and being determined to achieve what you want. it was not easy because at one point, when a certain principal did an interview with me, and I felt like I was almost there, but then things did not work out as we had planned. So I was like, should I lose hope with the whole process of coming to America, or should I just keep pushing? So yeah, Yasmin, you talked to me that time, beginning of the year 2024, and told me, Christopher, just hold on there. I'm going to get a school for you. And I said, wow, let me be patient. Let me just do what is necessary. Let me just do what I can to make myself prepared. And that is why I tell people, luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So
Yes.
what do you have to do? You have to get yourself prepared as you wait for the opportunity. How will you get yourself prepared? So this is all I did. I ensure that I have all my documents, ready. When I say document, I mean the foreign credential evaluation, which is a key document as a teacher when you want to come to the US. I got my passport ready. I got my driver's license ready. And now I just left the rest of the things to YCM solution. And when the time came, we were like 700 people in Sankara Hotel in Westlands, if you can remember.
No, no,
And this
I
school
forget.
district, yeah, barely like wanted, was it 10 or 13 teachers?
I think it was they came in initially for 10 and then
Yeah.
they went back and actually and they
Mhm.
ended up with 13 or something. I can't remember how many of you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So you could imagine down when you came to Sankara, hotel, there were lots of teachers who had their CVs ready, the walk-ins, those who had appointments. And when you got in there, you're like, oh, if they need 10 and we're like 700 teachers, what are even my chances of getting an opportunity here? But the good thing with YCM solution is that, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the background, every opportunity, provided you come with something that is extraordinary from the rest of the candidates, then you're going to get the job. So I said, well, I need to do this interview and I need to excel. Having waited for like about 8 months without getting an opportunity, I said, this is my time. And I gave it all my best. You can remember how neatly dressed I was that day with
Yeah,
the suit,
yeah.
just to impress, I gave it all my best. And I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get it. Despite the fact that we are so many people have been patient, have been praying over this, and I know I'm going to get it. And I did the interview on a Saturday. And a day later, I received a call from you.
Yeah.
And you guess what? This was a congratulatory message to me that, Edgecombe County Public School has decided to hire you. The most surprising thing is that I received this call when the interview was still ongoing, if you can
Yeah.
remember, because it was on a
Yeah.
Sunday morning
I remember.
and the interviews were going up to late in the evening because there were so many people. And I was like, oh my goodness. You mean I got this job and the interviews are not even over? I was a bit hesitant to believe what you told me. I even told you I wanted to come there just to confirm that it was you calling me because I couldn't believe this was going to be a game changer, and that is why I want to talk to somebody out there. If you want to come to the US, please be patient, believe in yourself, be resilient, and just keep praying and working hard towards it, and you'll make it.
Um, yeah, and I wanted to also say that from my point of view, I have done job fairs in different countries before, but that time was my first time ever being in Kenya. And my
Hmm.
biggest fear as a recruiter is that we invest so much money to go to these different countries and that no one is going to show up. I had
Hmm.
no idea what was in store for me in Kenya. When we saw all these people, I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, what
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
I've never ever experienced anything like
Yeah.
that." And if I
Yeah.
would have known, of course I wouldn't have made
Mhm.
it open to everybody because
Yeah.
the odds of you getting a job at that job fair
Mhm.
are, it's easier to get
Yeah.
into Harvard.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
One
yeah.
one good thing I will tell you about Kenyans is that we are really outgoing. Any moment we see an opportunity, we are just right there and then to grab it. That is why you are shocked to see people from different parts of the country. Some travel like 300 kilometers,
Yeah.
you know, from western part of the country, from eastern part, southern part, just to come and try to see if they can get a chance to be employed. Because we are outgoing and we really, really work so hard to get what we want to. So to me, I can say any day, anytime, Kenyan teachers are always ready to be employed.
Yeah. So I wanted to move on a little bit from that. So that day when I called you, I'm sure you were feeling a high, right? You probably
Yeah.
felt great. And then
Yeah.
it was a long road ahead. And then even the day you and a few other people were expected to leave, we had a hiccup, right? At the
Mhm.
airport, you all couldn't
Yeah,
travel.
yeah,
So what
yeah, yeah,
happened
yeah.
then?
Yeah, yeah. So this was the time that I was about to travel. Me and some other like nine teachers were supposed to travel. This was the second lot because the first lot that was employed had traveled like a week before us. So there was this thing called the Dani strike. I don't know about it much, but there was a strike at the airport and there were no local flights, international flights were canceled. And this day I just planned and went to the airport. I didn't know this until when I arrived at the airport and I was told that, you're not gonna travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the strike. And boom, me and some of the teachers, Kenyan teachers who were in the airport, we were like, you mean we're not going to travel? And some teachers are already in the US, working. So
Mhm.
what is happening? And again, this required hope because, when you don't have hope, when you don't have faith that it's going to happen, then, there's nothing you're going to wait for. So we encouraged each other at the airport and we said, well, let's just wait and hear what comes out of this. Then 2, 3 days later, good news, you guys are traveling next week, 1 week later. And yeah, it reached that day. I remember it was on a Wednesday. We traveled and the rest is history. Now we are here in North Carolina.
Yeah. So how
Yeah.
did you feel when you got on the airplane? And I think you all went through Doha, right? Or Emirates? Where
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it?
I went through Doha with Qatar Airlines
Right.
and I had well, I may not talk about this, but I had a good experience in the plane. It was not my first time boarding a plane, but because I had boarded plane from Kisumu to Nairobi, Nairobi to Mombasa, 2 times. So this was like my third time. However, it was my first international, travel.
Right.
So the feeling was extremely awesome, getting to see different kind of people from different parts of the world, the 20-hour journey on train, it
Yeah.
was something
Wow.
different,
A
one
20
that I've never
hour
experienced.
journey.
Because we had to go for 5 hours, 15 minutes to Qatar, Doha in Qatar.
Right.
And then from there, we had some rest, and then we took a plane for about 14 hours and some
Right.
few minutes
To
up
do.
to Washington Dulles. So it was a long, long journey, and I was just happy in that train because it was a game changer for me. So anything for it will be perfect.
Yeah. So how
Yeah.
did you feel? I remember we picked you up, but when you finally landed in the US before
Yeah.
you saw us, you know, did you feel like, did it feel surreal or, how were you feeling?
Oh my goodness. When I was about to land to Dulles International Airport, I was like, am I in heaven or what am I seeing? When the plane was just coming down, the kind of buildings, the structure, the ambience, just as the plane was, landing, I was like, where is this place? Do people live here? Is it heaven? Did Yasmin bring me to heaven? I was so amazed. I couldn't wait to, put my foot down here in the United States. And when I just landed, everything was totally different. You
Yeah.
could notice the order. You could notice the how everything was just placed. This was a place that you could not even imagine in your wildest dream that one day God will open doors for you. to me, it was a second heaven landing into the United States of America, just coming from the shacks of Kibera slums.
Yeah.
It was two different worlds apart for me. And the first thing I did was just to appreciate God for whatever He did throughout the journey. And me and the other teachers, we were so happy, I tell you. It was just pictures after pictures after pictures, you see everything and everything sounds new, the people, how welcoming those guys were at the airport. I mean, everything was amazing to me and just appreciate it to you guys. Thank you so much for that, making it
Um,
happen.
I'm really happy to hear that. And do you remember? So for me, I don't know about you,
Mhm.
but when I always go to a new country, I feel like I'm so observant, even on the highway, just looking
Mhm.
around. And even if
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, I just want to see what is it like. And I know you were in a different car than I was in,
Yeah.
but I remember the teachers in my car were all saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
nobody walks here. If this was Nairobi,
Yeah.
there would be." So, what was one thing that
Yeah.
you noticed is so different? Was
I
there?
noticed a number of things, not
Yeah,
actually even one thing, but
yeah,
the first thing I noticed was that it was so clean, like
yeah,
very, very clean. The roads
yeah,
are well maintained, very clean, no littering around, nothing, The cleanliness was outstanding. And then the order, because besides the road in Kenya, you see people selling some small things beside the road,
right.
Here I saw like there were nice trees to the right and to the left, and the highway, just vehicles alone.
Yeah,
No, nothing, no
yeah,
people,
no,
just the order. Like it was so amazing. And I was like, whoa, you mean our presidents have never been here, so they can take one or two things from here and bring it back to our country? I said, this is the place that I desire to be. I
yeah,
mean, the journey was about 4 hours to
no,
North Carolina from Dallas.
yeah,
And, I was with Meshach, the teacher,
yeah.
who,
I
yeah,
remember, and you
and
had all the
Anton was the
suitcases in the
driver.
car. Yeah,
Being a driver back in Kenya, I was like, will I ever drive in these good roads where people used to drive with around, it was like 80 miles. That's like 140, kilometers per hour. I used to drive for like 80 kilometers per hour to the highest. And this was like 140 kilometers. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a new experience for me. Thank
yeah,
God now I'm a senior driver here and I
yeah.
enjoy driving in America more than I do in Kenya.
Oh, I could imagine that.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
you can
remember?
also attest to this because when you came like weeks later, you realized that I knew all the roads, all the way
Yes,
from 95 north
yes,
to 95 south,
yes,
64 east and west.
yeah,
I knew all that in a short period of time because I
yeah,
was interested to
you
know.
did. Do you
Yeah.
remember your first meal in the US?
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing I can never forget, the Chipotle.
Yeah,
Like that is where I go anytime I have a friend. Even the friend of mine who came here, the first stop was Chipotle.
yeah,
This is a place where you will find meal which is similar to what we do in Africa. You find rice, beans, chicken, all these things mixed together, and what we call avocado for those who know that. And I didn't even know how you realize this kind of meal will, fit this group of teachers. I don't know. Did you know what we eat in Kenya? Like, how did you just choose Chipotle? Because it
Um,
happens to be the best so far.
so one day I had a call with um one of my friends who was a flight attendant, and she was like, "Oh, Kenyans, they eat rice and beans." And then I
Mhm.
was talking to Anton,
Yeah.
Anton, and he
Yeah.
said, "Oh yeah, Chipotle would actually be
Mhm.
good for them." So I
Yeah.
thought, "Okay, let's go to Chipotle." And
Mhm.
it's funny how similar a lot of cultures are because Chipotle
Mhm.
is not really American food. It's not authentic Mexican food, but
Mexican?
it's
Yeah.
based on
Yeah.
Mexican food, right? Which is rice
Yeah.
and beans and so
Yeah.
but I love Chipotle. I worked there for so many years when I was in high school and college, so
Mhm.
I still, everyone told
Yeah.
me you're gonna get sick of it, but I never did.
Yeah. And I can honestly say Chipotle has remained to be my favorite, restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Up to this
okay.
time.
It's not cheap, but for the amount of
Mhm.
food you get, I feel like it's
Yeah,
worth
it is
it.
worth it. It's
Yeah.
very, very much worth it here.
Yeah. So, how about what were your first couple of days like? You had a crazy experience, all of you teachers. You were
Yeah,
you
yeah.
came at the beginning of the school year when it had already started. So,
Yeah.
right
Hmm.
after you landed, you were immediately thrown into the classroom and then had a million things to do. So,
Yeah, yeah,
what was
yeah,
that
yeah.
like? Exhausting?
Definitely, yes, definitely. We landed and I think it was on a Wednesday. So on a Thursday, we went straight to the classroom. And you know
Yeah.
what? We were like expected to teach.
Yeah.
And this is a new experience. When I got to the class, kids were like here and there, I didn't really know where to start from. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a very new experience. And then one teacher just came and told me, there are millions of things to learn. You will
Yeah.
not know all these things in one day. Take it slow.
Yeah.
And that is what I did. Like I said, no pressure. I'm just gonna take it slow. Let me just learn the process, get to know the kids, build relationship with them, try to go and do a research on, how to treat American kids, how to engage them, how to, come up with a very, very conducive class. And it was a process, to be honest, Yasmin. It took me like a whole month just trying to learn, the system. And I could not learn everything in 1 month.
Of
So
course.
it was a bit challenging, but you know what? If you say you're going to do something and you are going to achieve something, then you put in more effort. Trust me, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
1.25 years down the line,
You
seen
got
lots of
it now.
improvements. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those people that don't know
Mhm,
about Christopher's family history, his
mhm,
parents both have a big time background in education, and I was lucky
mhm.
enough to visit his mom's school. And
Yeah,
I can tell you, I have actually, my mom is from Germany. So when I was a kid, I went to a school in Germany once with my cousin. That was also very different from American schools, but the school
yeah.
in Kenya was very different as well. So, it must have maybe even been overwhelming to you to
Mhm.
just be in a building like that. How did you
Yeah.
feel? What was so different?
I mean, it was just awesome, like a lot of things were different. A
Yeah,
lot of stuffs were different, and you know that. So I was like, I don't know where to start from. This is a new setup altogether. But you know what? There was this advice that I was given. You cannot learn all these things in a single day.
right.
It said, I'm just gonna take it step by step, step by step. I get this today, that's all. I get this tomorrow, that's all. And up to now, I can assure you, I may not know everything here, but I have learned a lot in this time. Yeah.
And how much of an adjustment was it seeing how much technology is used here in everyday life? Was that a shock for you, or you kind of expected that?
I would say I kind of expected that because I was coming to a first world country and I
Right.
knew very well that I was in a third world country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I expected advancements in technology. So I came really, really prepared to learn and learn and relearn. And that's
Yeah,
actually what saved me because I was
it
ready
is.
like to learn, learn
It
and
is.
learn and relearn and keep pushing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I wanted to go back a few minutes ago. You said, when I walked in there, I didn't know where to start. So I started to research how do I work with American kids? And even right
Mhm.
now, you mentioned your whole mindset was, I'm just
Mhm.
ready to learn and learn and learn.
Yeah.
Um, as a recruiter, I
Mhm.
see how important research is. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people they get a job and they think,
Mhm.
okay, that's it. I'm done now. I don't have to try anymore. What would
Yeah.
you say to those people that think, yay, I got a job. Now I can just kind of relax until I come? How can they better prepare themselves?
Um, you know, The best thing you could do just to get yourself prepared to teach American kids is to, know what you're supposed to know. Like, do your research, get to learn, how are these kids different from the kids I've been handling? Because there's a huge difference. Like, starting from how the culture is here, the differences in culture, the food, you know, entertainment, what people believe in, start to learn culture, start to want to know how to adjust in a new environment, try and find out, how are things done here? Because the basic thing I would like to highlight is that when I came here, I actually didn't know that every teacher will own his classroom. Because back in Kenya, we used to have like move from one class to the other to the other. Here, I found out that kids come to your class. You see? So if I was like, oh, so I'm going to be moving from one point to the other, if you don't find out some of these things, then you'll be like, where do you start from? These are the things you'll know even before you travel, and that will really, really make your work a little bit easier. So when you come, you just adjust to the system and, find colleagues, interact with colleagues, uh, try to learn from them, listen to what they tell you, do what they tell you, and I'm sure you will pretty succeed. And let me mention this, Yasmin. When I came to the school that I teach right now, the performance was not so good, because there were challenges with teachers in math and all that. So last year, when we did the test, I had 21 out of 47 kids being proficient in my math class. And for the very first time since that school was started, I got a level 5 in math, three of them,
Wow,
three in the history of that school.
awesome.
That
That's
tells you the impact the international teachers bring into the US classroom.
yeah,
Like, we have never reached a level 5 proficiency. For the very first time in North Edgecombe High School, we had three level 5.
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So
And how have you had a day? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but have you had a day during your time in the US where you've thought to yourself, you know what? I feel like I'm getting it. Did you have a moment like that or?
before I got into that moment, there was a moment where I felt, you know what? I am about to pack my things and go back home because what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So that is the moment that came first
Oh, yeah.
before this moment that you're
Yeah.
talking about. It's a
Yeah.
process because
Yeah.
before you get into this moment, like, I got it and I'm fine. You have to come uh, through this moment. Like, there was this day I was so exhausted, I had so many challenges. Some I may not mention here, but I had a lot of challenges that day. And I just called my mentor and told her, I'm thinking about leaving this job and going back home to my own country because why should I be here?
Yeah.
I don't understand why this and this and this is happening. And she told me, Chris, you are a good teacher. You are an amazing educator. Keep pushing. These are the things you need to do. These are the things you don't need to do. Don't tolerate this, do that. And I was like, okay, let me give it a last shot and see if I'll get it right. I can tell you, 5 months later, at one point, when I was teaching in my classroom for the very first time since I came in this country, when it was time to go for lunch, kids just literally stayed back to solve my math problems for the
Wow.
very first time.
That is
It
very
was
unique.
lunchtime, and everybody, lunch when the bell is about to ring, they're just by the door, just waiting for the bell. This time, I was teaching polynomial division, and three-quarters of my kids just decided to remain behind and finish what we were doing together for 10 good minutes.
Wow.
Lunch is 25 minutes. I
Yeah.
was shocked. I was like, is it happening in this country? Like, I've never seen this. And I say to myself, I have got it right. That is the day I felt I got it right.
And I want to tell anybody who is watching this that that is not the norm. So if your math kids don't want to stick around during lunch, you should not feel bad about yourself because that's
Exactly.
definitely not the norm here. But that
Exactly.
is amazing. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And I will say also from personal
Mhm.
experience, everybody
Mhm.
goes through a phase where when you're in a new
Yeah.
country, you have,
Mhm.
many
Yeah.
consecutive days where you're like, what am I
Mhm.
doing?
And
I
and and this left me with a lot of questions like, what did I do different? I started asking myself, what is it that I did different for these kids to remain behind and feel like they need to study, they need to learn this concept? And I was like trying to analyze, oh, this is where I started from. I started from the very basic level of this concept, as I went higher and higher and higher. So when I got it right, I said, this is what I'm going to do. And trust me, it has been good. That is what resulted to the 21 proficiency I was talking about and the three level fives for the first time in the history of North Edgecombe High School.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
now that you have been here for over a year, did you find it a lot easier starting this school year off than, well, of course, last year you were just thrown
Hmm.
into it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last year it was messy because the kids were in there already, classes had started, and this year, you were coming in as the first person doing your class decos, preparing your rules and regulations, the classroom expectations, getting ready to receive the kids. I felt like I owned the classroom this year as compared to last year because last year I found them there. This year they found me there with
yeah.
my expectations. So you can see the difference clearly. Like I owned the classroom more than I did last year. So once you own the classroom, then you are like 50% on the right path. Because most of the problems teachers encounter is they leave kids to do their own lesson plans. Because let me tell you the truth, I have my own lesson plans. Kids will have their own lesson plans. And their lesson plans is totally different from yours. You want to teach math, they want to dance, they want to laugh, they want to play. So if you allow them to use their lesson plan, then you get it right, wrong completely. So I can say this year, I used my lesson plan for 80% of my lesson, and they used theirs for only 20%. My goal next year is to use my lesson plan for 95% of my lesson. When I came here, kids used their lesson plans for 60% of the lesson, and I did use my lesson plan for 40%. So the difference is so clear.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about just regular life in the US? What do you like to do for fun? Who have you made
Mhm.
friends with? Do you feel people are welcoming? How was your experience?
Yeah, yeah, this is a very good question. And I will tell you, it all depends with an individual. The answer I'm going to give you will totally be different from somebody else's views about life, general life in the US. I would say life is so amazing in the US if you travel,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know, because you all know where we are. We are in the rural part of the United States,
yeah.
you know, and you will literally, don't get to learn a lot of things if you just come out of school and stay indoors, you don't walk around. You may feel like, sometimes kids frustrate you in class and then you're just there. Nothing will sound good for you until you decide to say, I leave everything after school and enjoy my life and just try to experience America. Walk, travel, go to Raleigh, for example, the capital of North Carolina. Go to Richmond. go to, DC, Delaware, all these places, and get to experience how life is cool in the United States of America. So, I like traveling a lot, and that has made me enjoy my stay here because I don't know how it would have been if I was not able to move around and experience, get to interact with new people, build relationship with new people out of the school environment. And I'll say this is a place that you love if you like traveling. And, there are very, very many places you would go just chill. You want to go to the beach, so many beaches around. You want to go to cool restaurants, they're there. You want to go to posh places with nice ambience, they are all over the cities, big cities. So if you travel, you will enjoy. If you remain local, you may have a different experience, according to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have been traveling everywhere. Where have you been and what is your favorite so far? And do you have any plans in 2026?
Yeah, so this being my first year and some few months, could say 4 months, I have been to 10 different states. I've been to down to Florida. I've
Wow.
been to Georgia. I've been to South Carolina. I stay in North Carolina. I've been to Virginia. I've been to Maryland. I've been to New Jersey. I've been to Delaware. I've been to New York. And I
Holding
have been
close.
to, yeah. So you see, I've been moving north and south along 95, all these states, close to three-quarter, because I've not gone further to the north, but I've gone up to down south in Florida,
Yeah.
Gainesville. So you see, I had a map. I had figured this out. Like, let me start with areas I could easily drive and, experience. So I started with the 95 north and south and tried to go to a number of states there. So this year, my plan is to move towards the west, Tennessee, Kentucky, all those countries that border us to the left. So I'm trying to have a plan of another 10 to 15 states this before the year ends so I
Wow.
can hit the 20th or the 25th sale. There are so many states for somebody who doesn't know. Are they 50?
50, yeah.
Yeah, so 10 out of 50, that's one-fifth of the states, Yeah,
And
it's
two
not
are
bad.
not on the mainland.
Hmm.
Two are not on the mainland. So,
Yeah, yeah. So those two, maybe I will plan about them maybe later on because I don't see myself going there any soon.
yeah. Well, even if
Yeah.
you want to go to California, you have to fly. It's like a 2-day drive, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not driving today
Yeah,
when it comes to
no.
go to California. Yeah.
So do you have a favorite place that you visited?
Oh, well, this is a good question. I went to Atlanta, Georgia. This looked like the best place I ever, you know, gone to here in the United States of America. That was before I went to New York and Washington, D.C. And I can tell you without no doubt that I love New York.
Yeah.
I just love New York because I really experienced the life in Nairobi. You've been to Nairobi,
Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same life. You see people selling things
Yeah.
along the street, a lot of people walking, so many buildings. Like it's a good life. Like for somebody who loves the, urban life, kind of, New York is a good place for you. You
Yeah.
love it. You will really love it.
Where did you go? New York City?
Yeah, I went to New York City
Yeah.
and yeah, it was so enjoyable. The only thing I didn't like is the traffic
Oh my
because
gosh.
I drove a distance of 5 miles for almost an hour and that was frustrating for me.
And it's so expensive.
So I'm not going again by private means, I have to go by train if I have to go back.
Yeah.
And I know I'll go back, so I'm not gonna drive to New York again
Yeah.
because I don't want to
Yeah.
stay long.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand. Um,
Yeah.
so earlier you mentioned that you said like one of the good things about YCM is that they don't care about your background or where you started.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know about Kenyan culture, but I feel like the US is kind of one of the few countries where people will really look up to you if you started from humble beginnings and worked
Mhm.
your way up.
Yeah.
And that's my experience as someone who was
Mhm.
born and raised there. But
Mhm.
do you have a take on that, or how do you feel?
I feel like it is the same in Kenya. Like people will
Okay.
look up to you if just came from a simple background
Yeah,
to this kind of, thing. I don't
right.
know how to put it, but people really appreciate that. The
Yeah,
small wins that we have here and there, it keeps encouraging people like you can. Yes, you can,
yeah,
regardless of where you come from. Barack Obama once said, yes, you can.
yeah,
So I felt like YCM solution, for instance, gave me the opportunity to show the world, yeah, what I'm made of. Like, I'm not just a local teacher. I can teach anywhere, be it in the United States of America, across Europe, United Arab Emirates. And I feel there's somebody somewhere who is listening to us and he feels or she feels very encouraged with my story because you came to where I used to stay when I was a kid, and you've come to where I stay right now in the United States of America. And possibly you say things have turned around. And I mean, that's all what we want.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
Do you have any advice to anyone looking to move to the US? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, 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 yeah. The advice I will give to you, having interacted with many teachers, many nurses, many people in general who came to the US, like if I ask them, when you're still in Kenya, did you think about coming to the US at one point? Did you plan for it? What did you do? And most of them will tell you like they had a plan
Mhm.
and they believe that one day they will come to the United States of America. And now they are here. So I will encourage you, wherever you are, whether you're in Kenya, in Tanzania, anywhere in the whole part of the world, the first thing to do is to have a plan. Tell yourself that if you're a teacher, for instance, I want to be an international teacher. I want to go and teach in the US. Then find out, what do you need for you to get a chance to go and teach to the US. If you're a teacher, I need this, I need that, I need that. Put it ready. If you are a nurse, if you are a doctor, if you are maybe, you don't have a clear profession and you still want to come to the US, think about the lottery, the DV lottery, the green card. Envision your life around this country. And trust me, if you put in more effort, do your research, find out what you need, definitely, without no doubt, you're going to land here. That's the advice I have for somebody there who wants to come here.
That was great advice. One of my mom's favorite sayings is always, those who do not have a plan, plan to fail.
Exactly.
So that was good. Great.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to say?
Anything I wanted to say, most of the teachers in Kenya are like, Chris, you're the ambassador of YCM. Like, we want to come to the United States of America through YCM. And we all know that there was the $100,000 that was introduced for, teachers or any other specially occupation professionals who are out of this country. And it is making it hard to explore the H1B way. I want to encourage you that think about the J1 because it's also another way that can land you to the United States as we wait to see what is there this year about the H1B because I would love all of you to come here to experience your life in the United States of America. So there is always a route. Try to find out what works for you at this particular moment. And I believe when the right time comes and things are in order, YCM Solution will be back to the country, Kenya. And you may never know. Your chance may be next.
Yeah. Well,
What do
thank
you
you so
think?
much, Chris. Well, I hope things
Mhm.
change as well. I only hope for the best, but when we first started this, um,
Mhm.
I also think a lot of people might feel like, at the beginning
Mhm.
of the interview, we talked about your journey, and you said,
Yeah.
I would tell you, oh, don't be discouraged, this and that.
Yeah.
When I knew you before you had come here, we were a much smaller company. So I had more
Mhm.
time to individually
Yeah.
encourage
Yeah.
people,
And
so
I guess, was I the first Kenyan you guys knew? Because we
you were
started
the
long
you
ago.
were the first, like one of maybe three or four people that I had kind of been in touch with consistently.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
sometimes
Yeah.
you talk to someone and then they get a job and, you
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. Exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
I don't want people to feel discouraged if I don't
Hmm.
personally encourage them,
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
it was very different. So during that time, I would say, what if something happens with an immigration law or what if this?
Hmm.
And my dad would tell me, you cannot live your life in fear of what if. If
Yeah.
something happens, it's out of your control, and then you pivot and you change,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good message to everybody because there
Yeah.
are even people in Kenya who
Hmm.
got a job offer and then something
Yeah.
happened with the school district. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, in life, there are some things that happen that are beyond our control, and
Exactly.
you just pivot and you do what's best for you. Yeah. But of course, I,
Yeah.
I hope things will change. But,
Hmm.
you know, now we just
Yeah.
plan for the future, whatever that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for joining me today. This was really fun. And
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it even more.